Today, we are looking into the 7 mistakes holding back Kenyan filmmakers. The Kenyan film industry is brimming with promise. We've seen flashes of brilliance in local productions that resonate both at home and abroad. But for every standout success, there are dozens of projects that fall flat. Not because the filmmakers lack talent, but because they repeat the same avoidable mistakes. Whether it's a rushed production, a misguided story, or an unwillingness to grow, these missteps keep our cinema from reaching its full potential. If we're going to build a vibrant, sustainable film industry, we must confront these 7 critical errors head-on. Before we begin, could you kindly subscribe and support the channel? I am targeting to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Thank you for your support. 1. Confusing filmmaking with storytelling. Too many Kenyan filmmakers are eager to shoot, but unprepared to tell a compelling story. There's a dangerous assumption that because everyone has a story, every story deserves to be filmed. But film is not just about recounting events. It's about crafting emotionally resonant, narratively satisfying journeys that hold an audience's attention from start to finish. In many cases, production begins before the script is ready, sometimes after just a single draft. This rush to shoot means poor dialogue, undeveloped characters, and inconsistent story arcs make it to screen. Instead, most of the time and budget should be spent in development. A solid pre-production phase includes writing multiple drafts, getting feedback from trusted peers and consultants, holding table reads, and possibly testing scenes through rehearsals or short versions. Great films begin on the page. Only when you're confident that the script has a strong premise, clear character motivation, a compelling arc, and a powerful resolution should you proceed to production. Otherwise, you're just pouring resources into a weak foundation. 2. Prioritizing emotion over logic. Emotion is the soul of storytelling, but it cannot exist in a vacuum. Many filmmakers get swept up in the emotional core of their story and forget to ground it in logic, realism, and proper structure. When this happens, the result is a film that may feel passionate, but ends up confusing or unbelievable. Think of film as a bridge. Emotion is the beauty of its design, but logic is the structural integrity. If your story includes a courtroom drama, crime investigation, medical emergency, or political situation, make sure the details reflect how those things work in the real world. This means consulting professionals, researching existing protocols, and ensuring the characters' actions are consistent with their roles and environments. Pixar's Ratatouille is a prime example. A film about a cooking rat could have easily collapsed under its absurd premise. But Pixar grounded it by sending their team into real Parisian kitchens to study the culinary world. The result? A film that felt authentic despite its fantasy. In Kenya, if you're making a police procedural or medical drama, don't just guess or Google. Talk to real officers or doctors. Inaccuracies don't just annoy experts. They break audience immersion. When filmmakers go the extra mile to ensure believability, it shows in the final product and elevates the entire production. 3. Sourcing scripts only from familiar circles. Creativity thrives on diversity, yet many local filmmakers repeatedly work with the same small circle of friends and collaborators. While loyalty and chemistry are important, staying in a closed loop leads to creative stagnation. The same ideas, styles, and themes get recycled, and audiences start to notice. There are hundreds of talented, hungry writers across Kenya with fresh voices and untapped perspectives, many of whom write independently, hoping to be discovered. John Bokenkamp's script for The Blacklist, for example, was written on spec, with no promise of funding or production, but because it was original, gripping, and well-crafted, it was eventually picked up and became a global phenomenon. Kenya is full of Bokenkamps, writers in Garissa, Kisumu, or Thika, with ideas that could redefine local cinema. But they'll never be discovered if we keep passing the pen within the same click. Consider hosting open script calls, start writer incubator programs, collaborate with literature students, playwrights, or even poets. Great stories often come from unexpected places. If you're serious about elevating your craft and standing out, you need new voices in the room. Creativity grows where there's friction, perspective, and challenge, not where everyone agrees and sounds the same. 4th, confusing movie and series storytelling. A common pitfall among filmmakers is misunderstanding the structural and narrative differences between film and series formats. A feature film is usually 90 to 120 minutes long, requiring tight plotting, quick character development, and a clear beginning, middle, and end. Every scene must push the story forward, and there's little room for side plots or slow-burning arcs. On the other hand, a TV series, or even a web series, unfolds over several episodes. This format allows for gradual world building, deeper character exploration, and storylines that can stretch or evolve over time. It demands patience, long-term planning, and the ability to hook viewers across episodes while still delivering satisfying individual installments. Filmmakers who are used to producing series often struggle when transitioning to film. Their movies feel like the first few episodes of something longer, leaving audiences with a sense of incompletion. Likewise, those who've only made films may write series that feel rushed, with underdeveloped characters and no compelling reason to keep watching past episode 1. The solution? Study the demands of each format, break down well-written series, and observe how they pace character growth and plot tension over time. Then contrast that with feature films like Nairobi Half-Life, and notice how efficiently they deliver complete stories within a limited time frame. Knowing how to adapt your storytelling to the format at hand is not just a skill, it's a necessity. 5. Taking feedback personally. Filmmaking is personal. You pour your time, energy, and emotion into a project, and when someone criticizes it, it can feel like a direct attack. But criticism, especially the kind that's thoughtful and constructive, is one of the most powerful tools a filmmaker has to grow. Unfortunately, many local filmmakers become defensive when given feedback. They justify every choice, dismiss criticism as hating, and surround themselves with yes men who always praise their work. This ego-driven approach stunts creative development. You don't have to implement every suggestion. In fact, too much feedback can confuse the vision. But if several people point out the same issues, such as pacing, dialogue, or character believability, it's worth investigating. The key is separating your identity from your work. Just because your film has flaws doesn't mean you are a failure. Feedback isn't about you as a person, it's about making the work better. Great directors, Ava DuVernay, Bong Joon-ho, Martin Scorsese, are known for actively seeking feedback at every stage of production. If you want to be a great filmmaker, drop the ego. Embrace the process. Every mistake is an opportunity to level up. 6. Obsessing over originality instead of mastery. Many filmmakers try so hard to be original that they forget how stories actually work. In the process of avoiding cliches, they abandon structure, coherence, or emotional logic. The result? Films that are confusing, experimental for the sake of being different, and ultimately forgettable. It's important to understand that originality doesn't mean inventing something completely new. It means presenting familiar truths in a fresh way. Some of the most successful films follow the exact same structure. The hero's journey, 3-act arcs, inciting incidents, but they do so with unique settings, characters, and emotional stakes. Pablo Picasso once said, "Good artists copy, great artists steal." In film, that means studying the techniques that work: tight dialogue, character arcs, pacing, cinematography, and adapting them into your own artistic voice. Take a close look at the greatest screenwriters and directors. Quentin Tarantino steals from old kung fu movies and spaghetti westerns. Greta Gerwig adapts literary classics like Little Women with modern style. Spike Lee borrows documentary and theatrical elements in his narratives. Don't waste years trying to invent your own structure from scratch. Learn the rules first, then bend them with purpose. 7. Playing it safe and staying in the comfort zone. Theaters in Kenya often struggle to attract viewers to local films. But that doesn't mean Kenyans won't watch their own stories. It means they're tired of watching the same stories. When films like Nairobi Half-Life and Click Click Bang hit screens, people turned up in droves. Why? Because these films were bold, relatable, and well-marketed. Unfortunately, many filmmakers today have retreated into the comfort of commissioned work, streaming series, NGO documentaries, or branded content. While these projects provide stability, they rarely challenge the filmmaker to innovate or take creative risks. Worse still, they disconnect filmmakers from their real audience, the everyday Kenyan. Playing it safe might pay the bills, but it rarely builds legacy. Great cinema happens when artists step out of their comfort zones, when they tackle taboo topics, when they mix genres, when they tell stories no one else dares to, and when they promote their work with the same passion they used to create it. If local filmmakers take more ownership of distribution, invest in targeted marketing, and create bold, audience-driven stories, Kenyans will show up to support them in cinemas. The appetite is there. It just needs to be fed with better stories. Final thoughts. Kenyan filmmakers are incredibly talented. We have the actors, the cinematographers, the editors, and the passion. But talent without discipline, strategy, and humility won't build an industry. Avoiding these 7 mistakes won't guarantee success, but it will place you on a path of constant growth, stronger films, and deeper audience connection. Because when you combine bold storytelling with craft, courage, and collaboration, the world won't just watch, it will remember. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. See you next time.